Okay, so I thought I would do a very quick first impressions video on the Beeline Moto app, whatever you want to call it, app, the device. So this is just the standard one. Now they do come in a shinier metal bezel as well. I elected just to go for the basic one. I thought it looked pretty good anyway. So what are my thoughts on this little device here? Well, the jury's out at the moment, I suppose. It's definitely made a difference having ridden for about the last 10 years and having never ever used sat-nav to now using sat-nav for the first time. It has made a massive difference. I've just come from running away from London to a beach down in the south coast, which I would never have found in a million years if I'd just been randomly walking around. But because of the sat-nav, I was able to find it, which was great. However, and there is a big however here, it wasn't quite as straightforward and quite as easy as it could have been. Now, this device is pretty good. I'm steaming up right there. It's good when you're in country lanes, long roads, that sort of thing. However, it does seem to fall apart a little bit when you get into towns, or if you hit any complicated roundabout systems. So if you just need to turn left or right, then perfectly good. But if you're going to hit a road with some slip roads, then it has problems. And I've also found that when it comes to roundabouts, it doesn't always accurately tell you which turning to take. So when you get the roundabout setting here and it tells you the number, exit number 3, exit number 4 and so forth, I have noticed that on a couple of occasions it said take exit number 1 or exit number 2, but it was actually exit number 3 or 4, and it just hasn't recognised certain roads as actual roads that you can turn off down, which is quite frustrating because it's meant that I've ended up having to do quite a few occasions of turning around and going back on myself, and it doesn't update very quickly with the new location and direction. So if you do go the wrong way, quite often you can find that it hasn't worked out, that you've gone the wrong way for quite some time. And also I find that sometimes the directions that it gives you are a little bit on the late side, shall we say. So it's saying go left, go left, go left, and suddenly it's go right, and it's pushed you into the wrong lane. So it isn't bad, but you definitely still have to, so this is saying it's taking the first exit, but it's saying it's slightly over that way, but the first exit's onto the left here. So which one do you take? So I'm going to go second exit. And second exit it was, even though it told me to go the first. So go figure with that. It's not a perfect device here, it's not infallible, it makes quite a few mistakes. So you do have to read the signs yourself, have a rough idea of where you're going, where you are. So if you rely 100% on this and you just ignore it, sometimes it's giving you contradictory information. So the dot there was saying pretty much straight ahead, but it was also saying first exit, which was a left. So yeah, it's a little bit confusing sometimes, a little bit counterintuitive. But overall, it's actually check my zips up. It's actually a nice little app. Got me to a place today that I've never been before. Don't know the area in the slightest, and I imagine if I hadn't have had the app, I would have been able to stop it quite a few more times just to look on my maps on the phone just to see where I was. So let's see, this is saying first exit, which is at about the 10 o'clock position. Now I'm thinking it's probably going to be the second, because I don't think it's going to recognise the first exit. But let's have a look. So come up here. So first exit here, and the second exit is saying first, but I'm going on second. Well, first is dead end, but still. And that's the one it wants me to take. So would I recommend buying this? Well, I've only used it today, is the first time. I've done about 150 miles using it. I would say if you are a city commuter, if you are going to be using it only to commute in town, I would suggest you get probably a quad lock and you just run Google Maps or whatever the Apple version is on your phone. But if you're like me and you're going to be out and about riding around for a good few hours, you're going to go explore some different parts, go down to the coast and everything else, and it's just more for fun, and it's not going to be used as a city device, then I would say this actually isn't too bad. It's not brilliant by any means. If I was having to get somewhere fast and I needed decent 100% reliable directions, I wouldn't use this. I would definitely look to get a quad lock and use my phone. But for me it works perfectly. It's small, it's compact, it's not perfect, but it works well enough to get me where I want to be, and I'm not in any particular rush. I just need to get there at some point, so that works for me. So this is saying first exit is going to be on the left, junk is number 1, and it's 0.1 of a mile away. So let's have a look. I think this one might actually be the first exit. Well, first exit's a petrol station, but I'm going to take the second. So it was second exit again. So it doesn't recognise that that's an exit, even though technically it is. So it's not ideal here. Now it's saying that the road's going to fork to the left, and we're going to take the left fork in 1.7 miles. So let's see how that goes. But yeah, overall it's not bad. It's absolutely far from perfect though, so you have to kind of accept that and not let it annoy you. But if you're just looking for something that's quite useful, help you get around a little bit, then it's a pretty good little bit of kit, and it's nice and small too, which is good. So you can put it in your pocket when you slow down. Put it in your pocket when you're out and about, when you're off the bike, and it's nice and small, doesn't get in the way. So yeah, I would say, is the Beeline worth buying? Up to you really. For me, I don't think it's a bad piece of kit. I will still use it, but I'm only using it for cruising around and having a bit of fun with, not using it as an everyday sat nav. I think for that it probably isn't anywhere near as good as many other things on the market.